Russians, I knew it was the Russians. Even when 3 million documents all pointed to it being Israel, I knew it had to be the Russians. The new tactic now on the, I don't know if you want to call them right-wing media or what, the Zionist media. How about that? That's what we call them, the Zionist media. The new tactic now is to say Jeffrey Epstein didn't work for Mossad, that he worked for Russia.
Of course.
And we have Larry Loomer. I'm sorry. Laura Loomer. I'm sorry. She's trying to do her best psyop on people by saying it's all Qatar, that he was somehow working with Qatar. You think I'm kidding? Here, let me read this to you. Jeffrey Epstein communicated with Qatar's ruling family about the Muslim Brotherhood and visited Qatar 2 days before the U.S. presidential election in 2016. Wow. I bet he's working for Qatar and not working for the Mossad and the CIA. As Kurt says, the fact that if Jeffrey Epstein's dead, he worked for the Mossad. If Jeffrey Epstein's alive, the Mossad worked for him, and Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Rothschilds. Well, we know he did work for the Rothschilds. So there's credible evidence that Jeffrey Epstein's still alive. That would be if I had to bet, gun to my head, is Jeffrey Epstein alive or dead? I would say alive. That's what I would say. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein's private plane was invited to, because there isn't only one Jeffrey Epstein ring. There's not just one guy, right? So if they did kill him, what about all the other guys running the other rings and the other people doing the dirty work of the deep state? They would probably be hesitant to keep doing it. They'd probably be afraid. And they'd probably want to get blackmail on the people they're working for. So that's why I think I would not be surprised if Jeffrey Epstein is still alive. Jeffrey Epstein's private plane was invited to land in Doha, Qatar, by Sakor Java. So it's all this stuff. Emails revealed Epstein was in communication. He is currently the chairman of the board of directors. So it's all. Epstein has extensive dealings with Qatari real estate brokers and members of Qatar's ruling family. Yeah, he was operating at the top of intelligence. Of course. He had presidents on his island. He had the royal family on his island. He had financiers. He had academics like Noam Chomsky and people in Harvard. He had Alan Dershowitz and top lawyer. He had everybody. He had everybody because he was working for the Rothschilds with the Mossad and the CIA. He had everybody in it. He had artists and movie stars and had everybody, politicians. So this is what she's trying to do. Qatar is the largest financer of the Muslim Brotherhood. And also Qatar is one of our biggest allies. We have our biggest military base in Qatar. So this whole idea, but why would we be doing that with people who are our enemies? Anyway, Epstein, I love the other side of it anyway. So it's, here we go. So that's her big idea, is that he's working. So that's Laura Loomer's, and then you're gonna skip the part where he met multiple times with Israel's president. Let me choose which files are true and completely disregard the 2 million mentioning my employer or Israel. So that's what they're saying back to Laura Loomer. New photo surfaces of Jeffrey Epstein wearing Israeli forces shirt. No kidding. No kidding. So here's CBS News. So now CBS News has been bought by the Zionists, like straight up. Like the news in the United States has always been what they refer to as Zionist occupied, right? So Zionists, if they don't run the media in the United States, the media has always been deferential to the Zionist narrative, right? Which is why when you look at the TV news, they don't tell you the truth about what's happening in Libya, or they don't tell you the truth about what's happening in Iraq or Iran or Syria or anywhere, because they never will go against Israel and Zionism. And but now they just outright bought CBS News, which includes 60 Minutes and so here they are. They're going to tell you that CBS, this is Bari Weiss's CBS, is going to tell you who Jeffrey Epstein was really looking for.
Poland says it's looking into possible connections between convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and Russian intelligence services. The announcement came after the U.S. Justice Department last week released millions more files related to the federal investigation into Epstein. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said Tuesday, quote, more and more leads, more and more information, and more commentary in the global press all relate to the suspicion that this unprecedented pedophilia scandal was co-organized by Russian intelligence services.
About any links between Epstein and Russian espionage, our own CBS News' Olivia Gazis in Washington spoke to Poland's foreign minister on that. Take a listen.
Well, honey traps, that's a classic KGB tactics. Mm-hmm. And there seem to have been a lot of horrible...
It's the KGB that hasn't existed for, I don't know, 40 years now, 30 years. It's a classic KGB honeypots. That's what he's talking about. Really? The Mossad doesn't do honeypot? Really? I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Monica Lewinsky. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. But that was Israeli. So this guy is, you know, how do you get to be the head of a political group, especially in Poland? He's just a propagandist, and that's what this is. So the propaganda in Europe is they want to have more war with Russia. I don't know where it's coming from, but that's what it is. And so that's what this is. And Bari Weiss's Zionist news media is going to sell you a complete line of complete BS. And if you believe it, you're the mark. You're the sucker. You're the dummy. Okay, here we go.
Compromise being produced. Mm-hmm. So yes, it requires investigation. Haven't read 3 million pages. Of this monster seeking Polish children.
So nobody believes that this guy read 3 million pages of anything, let alone the Epstein files. It's almost like Hillary Clinton is telling them what to say behind the scenes. Honest to God. It's her second favorite thing, fisting her victim until she can work their head like a puppet. Did you really think that Lindsey Graham's, that was his actual voice? She's inside operating like in the Men in Black. Come on. All of this is in defense of the Epstein Island list, and every defender is now technically involved. That's all. So he's got more to say.
To recruit for his horrible activities. So, of course, when Polish citizens are either harmed or doing harm, we investigate.
And Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that any compromising material that Russia might have gotten could still be used today, which then, he said, creates risks to democratic institutions along with national security. He also called Epstein's network a satanic circle of pedophiles and said that any links whatsoever will have to be clarified.
So that's what CBS News wants you to think, just like they wanted you to think that Russiagate was real and that Russia had all this compromising material on President Trump. And it turns out it was Israel. Israel is the one who is controlling Donald Trump and most of our politicians. Turns out it's not Russia. That was always a misdirection. And the reason why the Russiagate thing worked and they pushed Russiagate so hard was because they had in the chamber a war with Russia via the Ukraine coming. They were provoking a war with Russia because they wanted a war with Russia because they thought they were going to be able to, that Russia was weak and they would be able to take it over and balkanize it, meaning they would be able to do a color revolution inside Russia, and that they would crush them economically, crush them with this war, weaken them, and then split it up and sell it off to BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. That was their idea. Didn't work. They were willing to crush the European economy to get this done. They blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, which took cheap energy from Russia going to Europe, and they got rid of it. So now Europe's hurting economically. They're paying 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the amount they need for energy, and we know what that does to your manufacturing base when you have to pay that much more. So that's what this always was about. That's why Russiagate, they pushed it so hard so they could use it. And now they're trying to go back to that, well, Russia has all this compromise. So they're doing the same playbook, Bari Weiss, because she's horrible and she's not smart at all, Bari Weiss. She's a very mediocre mind and takes one to know one. That's how I know it. And So they're still trying to do it. And if you fall for it, you're a sucker. That's CBS News. Oh, here's Reuters. Oh, Reuters also doing it? Yes. Tell me the Zios don't run the media. Poland to probe possible links between Epstein and Russia. Here's the Washington Post. Epstein built ties to Russia and sought to meet Putin. Files show. So here we are. Here's the Daily Mail. Daily Mail's Epstein sex empire was honey trap, directed by KGB. Oh my God! I thought, oh, of course, and Trump, and then they also hacked into the DNC servers, and Seth Rich didn't happen, and blah blah blah, and yeah, and Russiagate is real. That's what this sounds like. Russiagate is real. It's Russia. I like this. Russians, I knew it was the Russians, even when 3 million documents all pointed to it being Israel. I knew it had to be the Russians. I knew it. So Jeffrey Epstein wanted to take over Russia as well, and it just didn't work out. Just didn't work out. And they know better than the... anyway, it's just... Oh, so Russiagate, sounding a lot like Ziogate, if you ask me. The one thing that powerful do not want anyone to do now is to investigate. That's what they don't want you to do. Just believe Bari Weiss, and she literally shapeshifts right before your eyes. Let's keep going. Here's this. It says, the whole world knows who Jeffrey Epstein was working for, except generously paid Western mainstream journalists and commentators, apparently. Because when everything else fails, the Red Scare remains the one tested and true tactic of this patriarchal bunch. There you go. Epstein was Jewish. Ghislaine Maxwell was Jewish. And her father was Mossad. So the operation was Russian. Was Russian. Had to be Russian. This is the most difficult question in the world. Let's watch this.
Who did Jeffrey Epstein work for? Apparently, depending on who you ask, this is the most difficult question in the world. There's nowhere in those 3 million files released by the FBI is there an indication about who the world's wealthiest and most powerful blackmailer may have spent decades passing across some of the most incredible blackmail material ever collected in the history of espionage too. Or, it's the Russians. Because clearly, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're Vladimir Putin and you've apparently spent decades getting about half of the entire US economic and political establishment on tape, committing crimes that laws haven't been invented for yet, you will take this amazing leverage and watch the same people slowly turn NATO's not 1 inch eastward into US military bases right next to you in Poland and Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia and Romania, and you do nothing about it. Then you'd watch them stage a coup next door to you in 2014, resulting in the deaths of ethnic Russians next door to you, and you'd only take the most conservative action. Eventually in 2022, when they start making noises about turning your longest land border into NATO territory, and you finally did something about it, the same people on whom you apparently have 20 plus years worth of HD blackmail footage showing them committing crimes that we don't even have names for yet, will then impose just about every sanction in the book on you, attempt to destroy your currency, blow up your Nord Stream pipeline and blame it on you, and then seize $400 billion worth of your financial assets. And they would arm this large patch of wheat next door and turn it into the world's weirdest proxy military for the sole purpose of tying you up in war. And knowing fully well that you could make their entire government collapse with just one document leaked to an intrepid journalist, you would do nothing. I mean, you'd have to be a genius on the level of a mainstream Western journalist for this scenario to make sense, because clearly these guys are geniuses.
Let me begin tonight with something that I think is even more important, even more extraordinary. Growing suspicions of a Russian connection. Epstein had apparently limitless supplies of money. Where did it come from? The FBI says that he was Putin's wealth manager.
He really kept a straight face and everything. Now, of course, over here in the real world, we know that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent, working with Israeli training alongside a network of Jewish and Israeli business and political elites to advance the interests of the Israeli state, whose flag is a blue and white Star of David. Did I mention Israel? Israel. And we know this because he freaking said so in the files that the FBI released, which the genius Western mainstream reporters are quoting. His conversation records with ex-Israeli Prime Minister and former Defense Minister Ehud Barak said so. Heck, the FBI itself said so. So except we're meant to ignore Epstein's own words, ignore the FBI's professional assessment, ignore the...
I mean, so this is right from the files. This is the FBI, and the FBI say Epstein belonged to both U.S. and allied intelligence agencies. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. That's the FBI telling you that. Okay. All right.
FBI's professional assessment, ignore the fact that he helped Ehud Barak broker an Israeli security arrangement with Mongolia and sell surveillance services to Cote d'Ivoire, ignore the fact that he housed an Israeli operative in his Manhattan apartment on 3 different occasions between 2013 and 2015, ignore the fact that his emails were littered with going this and do that, and ignore the fact that the trusty old Red Scare option really doesn't work like it used to. We just have to face the material reality that we are presented with. That the metaphorical Western dog is being wagged by its Israeli tail, and that said tail has multiple decades worth of visual evidence of crimes that regular people like you and I don't even know exist. And that this is only half of the full release, if there will ever be a full release. Blaming Russia can't help anyone now. The call is coming from inside the house.
Well said. All very well said. And here's my last slide on this. Literally all Western media right now. Let's ignore the Israeli elephant in the room. Let's keep. It's just they're so bad at deflecting, the Zionists. They wouldn't make it on a disabled senior soccer team. Honest. Russia is becoming our least convenient enemy. They refuse to go along with any of our plans. Our lifelong foe is being so uncooperative. So that's the latest from your establishment media, and that's why you watch a show like this, because what's the point of watching establishment news media unless to make fun of it, or unless to show you how they're trying to control you? There are people, most of the people I know in my life still think that they're informed because they watch MSNBC or they watch Fox News or they read the papers. They read the New York Times, Washington Post, and the LA Times or the Boston. They think they're informed because they read the papers or they watch TV news. No, you've been propagandized. You haven't been informed. The one thing Noam Chomsky did that was decent was he wrote a book called Manufacturing Consent, and he let us know that the news media is not there to inform you. They're there to manufacture your consent for the oligarchs' agenda, and that's what they're doing. Please don't look at Israel. Look, let's get back to we want to have a war with Russia. Let's keep back that. What a convenient boogeyman. All our problems, Russia. No, pay no attention to what you read in the Epstein files. Pay no attention to what Jeffrey Epstein actually said. Pay no attention to the Prime Minister of Israel hanging out with them. Pay no attention to the FBI saying he was working for the Mossad and that he trained under Ehud Barak. Pay no attention to any of that. That Ghislaine Maxwell's father was Mossad. Pay no attention to any of that. None. It's Russia. Okay, you want to hear me make jokes about this? Come see me in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and don't go anywhere else because if you do, you'll spend more money. Come see me on tour. I'll be in Lansing, Milwaukee, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. If you go anywhere else, you're going to pay more.